what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Daily HUD, brought to you by the Gamer Esports Network, where we break down the latest tournament and competitive gaming news to hit the scene. I'm Sierra, and it's time to queue up and get started. Starting off the day, we have big news for the Overwatch League. We've had 4 days of action, and they don't intend to slow down. Starting off with day 1, we got a little preview of what was to come for the rest of the week. Atlanta Reign took on the LA Gladiators in a match that was an upset from the beginning. The Gladiators look to be competing a bit better than their LA counterpart and bring a win to the hometown crowd. The Atlanta Reign look to keep their high momentum game going against the Gladiators team that normally play like their backs were against the wall. And well, these current games showed that this was a different Gladiators team than the one we saw last week. The Atlanta Reign were the quick favorite in this game, but it showed that the Gladiators can adapt this quick in the season. The Los Angeles Valiants have won a ton of matches this season, and they expect to win against the Philadelphia Fusion, but unfortunately the Fusion had their number. These two teams have had some pretty good scraps in the previous season, and this match proved to be no different. The only thing was that this one was an extremely sloppy 5-map game that set back Wentworth only the Philadelphia Fusion to take Game 5 with a 2-1 lead. Both teams are being looked at by their coaches for their unfortunate crucial mistakes in these matches. But the one thing is certain, the LA Valiants have been eliminated from the Stage 1 playoffs. The Valiants may be eliminated, but the Toronto Defiant and the Chengdu Hunters are still contenders for the spot at the playoffs. Despite the Toronto Defiant looking like the strong team fighting against the Chengdu Hunters mystery picks, this set showed the Hunters weren't a team to go easy on. With the Defiant taking Game 1 and 2, the Chengdu took Game 3 only to unfortunately lose Game 4 to end the set. Moving on, day 2, we've got the 2 undefeated teams in the entire league, the New York Excelsiors and their Vancouver Titans. Paris Eternal were able to keep their positive momentum even after their loss against the Vancouver Titans. Now, there's only a few things to say about this set. Vancouver Titans played these games clean with a 0-4 finish. Even though the Eternal lost, they showed they can still fight, moving on to the next match. This one had a lot more riding on it than everyone thinks. A loss to the New York Excelsiors would spell bad news to San Francisco's Shock dream of the playoffs. New York weren't holding back any punches to keep their undefeated streak intact, but the Shock weren't a competitor to sleep on. They traded blow for blow with New York, but they were unfortunately beaten to the punch with a 4-0 victory to New York. The Shanghai Dragon opened up day 3 with their playoff spot quickly slipping away, but the Dallas Fuel were also trying to save their playoff lives. The Dallas Fuel went into full force, showing the Dragons that they had to earn their win and playoff spot. Each map was pretty close on the Dragons' side, but the Dallas Fuel showed that they were the better team and swept the entire set with a 4-0 victory, keeping their own playoff stream alive. With the Valiants eliminated, the Houston Outlaws looked to get their free win from this set, but they were, however, in for a very rude awakening. The Outlaws were looking for an easy win against the eliminated Valiants, but they brought a hard fight that showed the Outlaws not to underestimate them. The set went on to be a 4-map match, with the Outlaws taking Game 1 and Game 4. The Valiants, however, took Game 2, but tied Game 3, with the Houston Outlaws finishing the set with a 2-1 victory and quickly brushing off their sloppy set to move on to next week. Wow. That was a lot of Overwatch, but we're still craving more, that's for sure. More action comes to you with the final week of Stage 1 before the playoffs, with the Washington Justice versus Paris Eternal starting off the day, London Spitfire taking on Seoul Dynasty, and to close out the day, Atlanta Reign looking to bounce back against the Chengdu Hunters. These matches start at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, March 16th, so be sure to tune in. The Overwatch League isn't the only one heading off to the playoffs soon. The League of Legends scene is in the final stretch of its spring split, with the LEC just 1 week before the playoff standings are looking much clearer than their LCS counterpart. The LEC started off this strong, This past Friday, with G2 Esports taking on Splice from the champ set, no one knew that this match was going to be a brawl, but Splice had G2's number from the start. Splice had extremely great map control and lane pressure that allowed them to snowball the entire game, and the 41-minute and 30-second mark, Splice closed out the game with a 27-12 kill lead, and were able to take down the #1 team in Europe. Congratulations, a really good job there. With G2 out of the equation for day one, 2 other teams look to finally secure their playoff spots. First up is Origen, who currently tied for second place with Splice Gaming, taking on SK Gaming. Both came into the match with a balanced team picks. However, none of them came in aggressive or defensive, so it all came down to which team would snowball and just when they would. Now, here, at the 22-minute mark, they made their first move with a successful team fight. With that advantage, Origen kept fights to a minimum and began an objective hunt to close out the game with a backdoor at 30-minute mark. The second team is none other than Fnatic. Everyone expected nothing less from them, coming onto the match with an extremely offensive comp against Misfits. They managed to gain a lead in the early game and keep it all going all the way to the 30-minute mark, where there were no more second chances for the Misfits, with Fnatic returning to the battle for the playoffs. Day 2 didn't really have any different results for the top 3 teams, with only G2 officially securing their first place seed in the playoffs, and Fnatic and Origen winning their matches against Rogue and Team XL to further secure their standings. Moving on to LCS, we were promised games that could officially set or change standings coming into the playoffs. Golden Guardians and Counter Logic Gaming faces off as the first day 1 match, with Golden Guardians going in with an early game comp. CLG made roster changes, switching out. The match was a slow starting for the engine, but the Guardians, they managed to close out the game and pick up seed with an intense backdoor, finally break free of the massive tie to stand alone in 4th place. The match of the week was something that we wanted answers to, and we definitely got more than we intended. Team Liquid and Cloud9 were set to face off in a match that put Liquid's first place sole position at stake, but Team Liquid came in aggressive against Cloud9 with a great objective and control, and extremely great team fighting and communication. At the 40-minute mark, Liquid managed to close the game out to be the only #1 team in the LCS. TSM was looking for an additional win to beef up their 3rd place and avoid a break, and 100 Thieves didn't seem to care about their 9th place spot, as they were determined to take this win off TSM. Throughout the whole match, the Thieves controlled every objective, but they missed one crucial thing, which was proper team fighting. Now TSM was able to bounce back from their crucial Baron team fight that cost the Thieves everything, with TSM snowballing almost after an hour and 99.5k in gold in their pockets. TSM closed out the match and came back from a hard deficit. Looking at day 2, it was basically the same for the top 3 teams. Team Liquid took down Golden Guardians and settled the standings with a 13-1 score, with TSM winning their game against Optic Gaming and Cloud9 defeating 100 Thieves. It seems CLG was the only one who lost their game to Clutch Gaming. That being said, if you want to catch more league action, the LEC will start their final week on Friday, March 15th, starting off the day with Misfits versus Splice, followed by the match of the week with Fnatic and G2 Gaming. Then finally, SO4 will take on the Origen to close out on Saturday, March 16th. LCS will take on the stage with Optic Gaming versus Counter Logic Gaming. Then Team Solo Mid will do battle against the Golden Guardians as Team Liquid look to increase their standings against Clutch Gaming, and finally Cloud9 will face off against the Echo Fox. The Smash Ultimate Summit started off this weekend on March 8th and ending on March 10th. 16 players were able to make it into the singles pool, but it all came down to the final 2. Echo Fox's MK Leo managed to pass all the way to the winner's bracket, while DeBuzz became the loser's bracket winner. These two went at it in the grand finals, only for DeBuzz to get 3-0'd by MK Leo's Luciana, with MK Leo being crowned the champion to end the summit. Well, that was a big weekend for esports, and with many playoffs coming this week, it's only going to get bigger. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at GamerEsportsNet, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gamer Esports Network, for constant updates. On behalf of me and the entire Gamer Esports Network, we'll be right back here tomorrow at the same time to bring the action. I'm Sierra, and I hope things were a little bit clearer.